Hot out there. Looks like everybody might be hot because it's New Orleans and it's really, really swampy out there. Jameis, though, with a big opportunity, Dan. We saw him last year show some flashes, right? Be a little bit more conservative with his play at times, which is good to see under Sean Payton, and then unfortunately got hurt. What do you expect out of him this season?
The analogy I've used this offseason is Sean Payton got him to play quarterback like a baseball player with 2 strikes.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you choke up a little bit and just get bat on the ball. It's not a 3-1 count when we're trying to hit a home run and we can swing away. And he did a really good job of that. And now he's got 3 pieces weaponry-wise that he did not have last year. Michael Thomas is starting to look healthy. And we got to remember, Michael Thomas was that moving piece in this offense that was that not only a really good possession receiver, but did get those chunks. Such a smart receiver. Does Jameis get on the same page with Michael Thomas the way that Drew Brees was? Because that was that unspoken language. I remember watching cut-ups of Michael Thomas running certain routes, and he saw it the same way as Drew, and that's why the ball came out. Can Jameis get to that spot? And then think of Jarvis Landry. Jarvis is that guy that Jameis now has to work the middle of the field and get open and just trust that you'll be able to throw it to a spot where he can use his body to make a catch. And then they draft Chris Olave at Ohio State in the first round, that one of the better route runners that you could say, because Michael's not necessarily this, and neither is Jarvis. Go out there, you got a corner, it's man-to-man, win just on route running. And he could do that, but also push the ball downfield a little bit. So I'm really excited to watch Jameis because I've been super critical of him, and he's done a nice job of really understanding the people that he has around him.
You see the Saints offseason and all the additions that we just referenced there. Of course, Michael Thomas was even emotional talking to the media about getting back in action, what it means to him. I want to cut back to some of this video of Jameis Winston, if we can, out at practice, because you see that really heavy knee brace on there. Shefty, he looked like he was moving pretty well. They're working on getting this video back up for us. But what is the outlook there on his injury and his health right now?
I was told right before camp began that he was exactly where he was hoping to be and was expecting to be. Now, that's a big brace that he's wearing.
It is.
And it doesn't look like he's moving entirely naturally, right? Like it's a little bit.
You can see a little bit of
There's a little giddy up,
A little bit, right? But I think that's what doctors thought would have happened. And he has been rigorous in his rehab, and they feel like he's exactly where he needs to be. Look, the fact of the matter is he's out there.
Right.
He's out there in training camp, which tells you that without a question of the doubt, he's going to be out there for opening day. He's planning on starting, and he's getting healthier and healthier by the day.
Real quick, I think the comfort for Jameis is so that left knee, right, as a quarterback, that's where you step into when you go to make your throws. He can take comfort in the interior of their offensive line because they lost their left tackle, Teron Armstead. It's strong. McCoy at the center. It's Pete at left guard. Like, it's still a really strong unit that will at least have him the mental confidence of, I got to trust those cats to keep me clean on that left knee, that I can step in and drive the football down the field.
And let me say this. The Saints think that they're going to be really good this year.
Yeah, they do.
And
second best team in the conference.
Well, and the evidence of that is that they dealt their first-round draft pick next year to Philadelphia because they were so sure that they are in position to overtake Tampa this upcoming season. We'll see whether the Saints can or not, but they think this is a good team.
Why not? Why not think that? Listen, people forget the Saints played with 3 quarterbacks last year.
Yeah.
Right? When Jameis got hurt, it was just a piece together what
Taysom
you could.
Was playing.
Yeah, we talked about Taysom, but we all acknowledge what Taysom is, right? And it's not a quarterback that's going to win the division for you. But you look at this team and what you mentioned, Dio, with Jarvis Landry, with Michael Thomas coming back, Chris Olave, that's strong, bro.
Heck yeah.
And also, we don't know what the status of Alvin Kamara could be going into the season, but we're talking about elite guys from an offensive standpoint.
Yeah.
But not to mention, this team has been beating Tampa without quarterback play.
Right.
But my thing, Marcus, is Jameis has got to keep the mindset of last year.
100%.
Because I think a little bit of the mindset last year was aware of, I didn't have Jarvis on it, didn't have Chris Olave, and I didn't have Michael Thomas.
I got you.
So can you keep that
keep it in
same
perspective?
mindset, knowing you do have the talent around you now?
And then to your point, like I think, because you guys know, I talked to Sean about this 1,000 times about Jameis, and that's why I was so bullish on him coming.
But it was about bringing an approach to this team about how we're going to play. Yeah. And that's what, we were trying to establish last year. And I know that we did that. And I think in my reflection, from last season, there's nobody that was more more disappointed walking across that field on the last game than I was. There was no one that hated that more than I did. But I love the way that we competed, as a football team last year. I know that. I like the way we laid it on the line. I'm disappointed that we finished the season 1-3, and that those are the facts. But our team competed. And I think that we're going to grow a lot, from those last 4 games. We will learn a lot. But as you guys all know, we have a different team. Yeah. And that's where our focus needs to be right now. And I'm really looking forward to getting with these guys in training camp and figuring it out.
Yeah, Coach, there's something really special about you showing through aggressive play calling that you've got those guys' backs. And that may end up serving you well for years to come. Thanks so much for joining us here. You're going to hit the field at noon Eastern for camp. So get out there and practice.
Man. I need that hat.
I know. They're trying to steal your whole outfit. I mean, if these guys had it their way, you wouldn't have anything on anymore because they'd be taking it off. Thanks to Coach Staley for joining us here. Let's get to the Titans. They're on the field now. They made headlines on day 1 of the NFL draft after trading top wideout A.J. Brown to the Eagles, then drafting quarterback Malik Willis. But, once again, the biggest storyline for Tennessee this offseason, has been tracking the status of running back Derrick Henry. You see him out there. He missed the second half of last season due to the foot injury. Look how big. I mean, is everybody else like normal size, or are they all shrunk down over there? Look how big it looks. Bigger than Vrabel. Vrabel looks like 5 inches shorter than him. He probably is. The size alone, of course, is really noticeable. And remember, you can get coverage of training camp on NFL Network today as well. We've got you covered here, of course. But, Dan, as you see Derrick Henry out there, what's important for the Titans when it comes to not only using him well, as they always do, but Ryan Tannehill at quarterback?
I think keeping him healthy, obviously, the foot injury was a big part of last season. The interesting thing for me with Tennessee is they're not going to change because they can't. They're incapable of the change because they went from having – we called them the Monstars last year. It was Derrick Henry. And then if you want to stop the Derrick Henry show, we've got A.J. Brown, the big physical receiver on the outside, and even Julio a little bit early on. They don't have that anymore in the perimeter. So I do think it's going to be that same formula of lean on the offensive line and Todd Downing, their play caller, leaning on that run game. They just don't have the pieces on the outside with Treylon Burks, their first-round pick out of Arkansas, and Robert Woods coming over via the trade from the Rams to be those dominant one-on-one receivers.
And it's interesting to me because we're talking about all the pressure on Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts and Daniel Jones. Is there a quarterback in the NFL that has any more pressure on him than Ryan Tannehill?
Sure.
Because this is a team that checked in on Aaron Rodgers. This is a team that checked in on Deshaun Watson, only to find out it was in the AFC South. This was a team that was quietly fishing around on quarterbacks and then goes ahead and takes Malik Willis in the draft when he falls.
Point,
and so there's some pressure on Ryan Tannehill to get the job done, because if he doesn't, they've come close. They've gone far. They just haven't gotten to where they wanted to reach. And I think that they feel like they need better play at the quarterback position.
Yeah, well, this would be the hardest year for him from a
health standpoint.
A health standpoint. And when you think about Tennessee, when they were having a tremendous amount of success, Ryan Tannehill was afforded, obviously, Derrick Henry. He was afforded A.J. Brown, guys that you can get the ball in their hands quick and they make something happen with it. And I don't want to take anything away from Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill has played good football for the Tennessee Titans. Okay? But I hope, for the sake of Ryan Tannehill, he's not playing every Sunday to make up for the playoff game. That's going to be my biggest concern. You got to get past that. And also you got to get past that realizing this is not the same type of weaponry I've had around me since I've gotten here. So, look, we know it'll be heavy Derrick Henry, but also on the other side of the ball, we saw Tennessee dominate games from a defensive line standpoint. And this will be about Jeffrey Simmons leading those guys and making sure that they are in games, and then Ryan Tannehill being able to deliver late in football games this year.
You know who I think about is Treylon Burks, because it's not fair, but he's going to inevitably be compared to A.J. Brown. And he's not there yet, right? The guy has a ton of potential, has gotten better throughout camp.